Okay, so here we are. It's only a week or so left of the season, and here I am with Steve. We're on this really cool, beautiful new piece of property. We've been on new properties last 2 days setting up traps. And this one, you can see there's a bottom here. It's got a food plot in here. There's a 2-track that runs. Sorry, the sun is kind of in your eyes. I'll try to get over here. There's a 2-track road that runs right here along the edge. There's some old beans on this side, creek on that side. 2-track runs right here. There's a little bit of a bluff here, and it's really thick, as you can see right up on here, all these brambles and stuff. And the creek is right there. So it's an excellent funnel point. Everything that's running up and down this bottom is funneling through this little area right here. You can see the field goes on down, and there's turkey manure here. There's deer tracks all through this. There's coyote scat here. Everything is running just right along this bottom, and they're all going through this itty bitty little funnel point. So Steve's putting a trap over there. I'm putting a trap right here, and I got a flat set right here that's kind of blended in out in front of that log right there, a couple feet off of the 2-track. And then Steve's got a he's putting in a cat set, because as usual Steve's trying to catch bobcats, his favorite of all time. So he's got a little dirt hole right here, not a cubby for a cat, but a dirt hole for a cat. And he's got feathers all over it right here on this edge. He's got his Christmas decorations up there. Although last time Steve did this, I made fun of him and he caught a coyote here, which usually is a little bit weird because sometimes that stuff will scare the coyotes off. But perfect for a fox, cat, everything. So he's baiting that baby up, and we're gonna go ahead and keep on going down to even a better intersection I'll show you here in a minute, and keep on setting this new place up. Okay, so here we are in back of this little field here. You can see they got a deer blind right over here. Some pretty tall grass right over here. This is a little bit less tall, but it's pretty thick over here. It's pretty thick along here. There's a forest road on the back of the property that runs up through there. And there's another little road that runs in right through there. And they all kind of dump together in this little field. So Steve's putting a little T-bone right back here in this corner where this road dumps in, and this road kind of dumps in right over here. And the property owner said they've shot, I don't know, I think they shot 1 or maybe 2 coyotes back here during deer season while they were just back here hunting. So there's obviously coyotes running through here, and they're probably running from that thick big forest area into this area looking for food, and they're just going right on down that road into that bottom, and then east and west along that bottom. So we're going to put a trap right in here in this little corner. Steve's using that big tuft of grass right there, and a T-bone right there. There's a hole in it. Right there's a T-bone, and he is on the right out in the front. He's getting his spring and stuff buried in there, and getting his MB 550 set in there, and hopefully we're gonna have cow out here. Okay, so we're in this bottom still, and we got this 2-track coming down. Got old bean field right here. They got some new growth right here. 2-track going that way. 2-track going that way, creek over that way. So we got this good intersection. So we wanted to put in, we've been putting in some flat sets and some T-bone sets. We wanted to put in something super flashy right here. So this is our big old dirt hole. If you look down in there, I got a little bit of sheep's wool and a couple feathers stuffed down in there. Bait's below that. Trap is right here. And you can see I sifted dirt all around this. I want this to be a big flashy dirt hole right here at this intersection. And then to make it even more flashy, I drilled another dirt hole right here next to it, just maybe 2 feet away. And I don't have any bait or anything in that one, but just another hole for them to mess with and see and get excited about. And this should have tons of eye appeal. And we got a good bait, a good lure, some urine on this. This should definitely be a catch right here. I'll be shocked if this is not a catch in the next couple days. Okay, so Steve and I are in the back of this property still, and you can see how tall the grass is in here. It's above my waist, thick sage grass. They've mowed a track all the way around the outside, and this is at the corner of the property line. If you look over there, you will see it is some thick, nasty brush. It is thick and it is nasty, and it's got Bobcat written all over it. All kinds of thick brush over here. Look how tall the grass is. There's Steve standing in it, and you can see how tall it is. So what we did, we found a couple of crossovers. You can see where the critters are going underneath the fence right there. There's no deer tracks in there, believe it or not. Just critter tracks. There's another crossover right here. Right there. Right there. So what we did is Steve put himself a CD. You can see it up here. Way up high, it's probably about 7 feet in the air. So wherever that cat is in this field or up on these ridges, he's going to be able to see it. And when he comes to here, when he comes to see this, because we know the cat is nearsighted, can't see this from a distance, it'll be blurry, but it'll be shiny. He'll come here to investigate, probably be standing on this track that's mowed. He's not going to be over there in that thick stuff probably, but if he is, he won't be too far away. And then he sees our cubby over here. We've got our Christmas decorations and all of our feathers. He comes up to here. We've made him a nice little driveway that he can just pull right in here. Right there, we've used some natural stobs that were here. And we put the 3 little sticks in the front of our jaws, a couple of little sticks on the back side. He's gonna step over that stick, step right in there, get caught. Back in there, we've got our bait, our lure, our Bobcat urine, some more feathers all around the inside of that. It's going to be hard for him to resist if he comes by this trap. And if he does get hung up out there in the front, we're a good 2 feet probably out to the front. So if he does get hung up, decides he's not going to enter or go into the cubby, we still have a chance to catch him out in the front. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, the sun's going down. Steve and I are going to be done for the day. Been setting traps all day. We're on this end of this little property. Right down in there is where our Bobcat set is. Steve's trying to stay out of the camera, but he's gorgeous. So we have the creek is running right through here. It runs into the big creek, small creek, and there's big drainage that goes up that way with this field in it, and a 2-track all the way up there, 2-track that way. The main 2-track goes this way. And there is all kinds of coyote scat along this part of the 2-track, right here and right here. So we put in a double set right here.
Both old and new scat.
Yeah, both old and new scat. Steve put in a nice dirt hole right here. Put a little coyote scat that we found out here, up there on the hole. And that's looking good. And then, so here's where we are, dirt hole right here. And then I put in a flat set over here where we can catch
25 yards apart.
Yeah, 25-30 yards maybe. And so you can see there's the 2-track that goes up that way, and then there's you cross the creek right here, and then that's that big field where we put the Bobcat set over there where the sun is going down. And there's a mowed track all the way around this field. So here's the little creek crossing. You can see here's some more scat right there. And there's a little creek crossing, and then that's the thick field and a mowed track all the way around. So all the predators are just going around the edge of that field on that track. They're running up there. There's a food plot up there. They're just running up there into the woods. And they're running that way down to the creek. And they're running that way all the way down to the end of the property. And then at the very, very far end, there's a big power line. got grass in it about waist high, sage grass, and it runs for miles and miles and miles through the big forest. So they're just using that as a highway. And then right here on this clump of sage grass, I put in a flat set, tried to blend it in really well, use some coyote scat, and I put 3 little punch holes, one on each side of the grass and then one actually in the grass. You can't really see them. You want them to really be seen. And I put a different lure in each side, and then I put a bait down in the middle. I'm using some Locklear's Federales down in the middle, and then I use some Kansas Trapline product, Positive Attraction on one side. I'm not really sure what I used on the other side, I can't remember now. But then I put some of this coyote scat on here, and I put coyote urine on here because it's breeding season here in the Ozarks, and so that's the one time I try to use coyote urine. Otherwise, I'm mostly using red fox and bobcat. And then I try to blend it in with all the duff this here in this field, trying to make it look all good. And hopefully we'll have a catch here in the next couple days. Should be a great spot. Okay, so Steve and I are on another farm now, and this farmer's got a deer feeder right there, and he's got a game camera right over there, and he says he sees coyotes constantly coming through here. So he's been calling and calling, trying to get us to come over here and trap these coyotes. We finally made it. There's a big power line right here. You can see there's an old like 2-track trail that goes through the power line, through an old fence there, and probably every predator's running that. There's this edge here, right here along the edge of this field, and then this edge here right along this field, and just a barely a hint of a 2-track that goes up there along the edge past the deer feeder and on around into some other really tall grass in the field. So Steve put in a flat set right here, which is this old tree that's laying here, been here for God knows how long. And right here he's got a flat set which is right along this edge. Oh, there's also a old road that comes out of the forest right here that I didn't show you. So you got this edge, you got the power line, and you got this old road that comes out right there. And when we drove on it, and it goes back there, I don't know, all the way to the next farm, so probably a mile. So there's all these things that are coming together, and you can see how thick this edge is here. So Steve put in a flat set right here along this log, right here at the end of the log, and blended it all in with this grass.
You just pulled that log out of that.
Yeah, the log just was laying right here, and he literally just pulled it like a few feet and kind of stuck it out a little bit, just to give them something to see when they were coming down this edge. Covered it up with grass. He's got it bedded in dirt, dry dirt, but then just the grass that kind of blended in. It's got urine, and you put a punch hole in there.
Yeah.
Put a couple punch holes in there just up on the base of that. Stuck some bait and some lure down in there. So you can't see it, but it's down underneath that log in those punch holes. And then some urine on it. So that'll be a fantastic little flat set for them coyotes as they're coming by.
And they'll drive, if they're driving down this road, if the farmer's checking cows, he'll come outside of that stump because he won't want to hit it, so he'll miss the trap.
Yeah, exactly. So farmer hopefully won't run over that because that stump's sticking out. And then I put in a dirt hole right up here. Steve, you want to bring the buggy up and I'll walk up here. I put in a dirt hole right up here because obviously if it's good for one trap, it's good for two, especially this time of year. A lot of these coyotes are paired up. There was snow on the ground the last couple days. Every coyote track we saw was 2s. They're all paired up for breeding season. So plus, you know, I'm just kind of a big believer, if you're going to put in one, put in 2. So I have another one right here, just not far up the road. And this one we wanted something super, super flashy since that one was kind of incognito. And again, you can see right there is the line or the road that comes out of the forest, the power line, this edge. And I put in a big flashy double dirt hole. This is the dirt hole that's going to have bait and lure in it. The trap's right here. I've used this piece of sage grass here as a backing and on the side, and then this piece of fescue on this side. So he's pretty much forced into this area, and there's a sticker bush, itty bitty little sticker bush right back there. He's not going to want to go around that. He's going to be forced to come right here. And I gave him a second dirt hole right here that I'm not going to put anything in, but that'll just give him added attraction to go back and forth, and when he goes back and forth, his feet are going to be moving, and hopefully we'll catch him. So now we're going to move on and put in a few more sets on this property.